Chapter 1. The Warning. 3 in the morning, and I'm standing barefoot in my kitchen, staring at pool chemicals scattered across granite countertops like some twisted chemistry experiment. The house reeks of chlorine and expensive wine, Elena's signature scent after one of her networking events. That's what she calls them now. Used to be parties. Before that, get-togethers. The vocabulary keeps evolving, but the mess stays the same. My name's Jack Harris, and until tonight, I thought the biggest problem in my life was my wife's inability to clean up after herself. I was wrong. The pool cleaner's van is still parked outside. Strange, considering Elena's party ended hours ago. Through the kitchen window, I can see someone moving around our backyard. Tall, lean figure checking the pool equipment with a flashlight. At 3 a.m., "Dad," I turn. Sophie, my 16-year-old daughter, stands in the doorway wearing pajamas and a concerned expression that makes her look older than her years. "Can't sleep either?" I ask. "The new pool guy knocked on my window. Said he needed to talk to you, urgently." Every instinct from my army days starts screaming. Nobody knocks on teenage girls' windows at 3 in the morning, with good intentions. Go wake your brother, pack overnight bags, both of you. "Dad, what's Sophie, now?" She recognizes the tone. Military voice, no arguments, no questions. She disappears upstairs. I grab my Glock from the gun safe, legally owned, properly registered, and about to earn its keep. The pool cleaner is waiting by our back door when I step outside. Up close, he's younger than I expected. Late 20s, maybe. Tattoos peek from under his work shirt sleeves. His accent is thick, Eastern European. "Mr. Harris, we need to talk." "About what? And who the hell are you?" He rolls up his left sleeve. The tattoo makes my blood freeze. Ukrainian trident, military insignia, and below it, Azov Battalion. "My name is Maxim Ivanenko. Max. I am not really pool cleaner." "No shit. Your wife, Elena. She is in very big trouble. You and children, also in danger." I keep the gun pointed down but ready. "What kind of trouble?" "The kind that kills families." Sophie appears at the back door with 2 packed bags. Ben, my 13-year-old son, stands behind her looking confused and scared. "Get in my truck," I tell them. "We're going to Grandma's house." "Jack, it's 3 in the morning, Sophie protests. "Gas leak," I lie smoothly. "Dangerous, go." They know better than to argue when I use that voice. 5 minutes later, I'm driving through empty suburban streets, my kids half asleep in the back seat, my mind racing through possibilities, none of them good. My parents live 20 minutes away in a retirement community with security gates and nosy neighbors, perfect for keeping 2 kids safe while I figure out what the hell is happening to my life. "Dad," Ben mumbles from the back seat, "why does our pool guy have military tattoos?" "Smart kid. Too smart sometimes." "I don't know yet, buddy, but I'm going to find out." I park outside my parents' house and wake them up with the gas leak story. My mother, bless her suspicious heart, immediately starts asking questions I can't answer. My father, a Vietnam veteran who recognizes the look in my eyes, cuts her off. "We'll keep them safe," he tells me quietly. "Whatever this is about, don't let Elena take them. No matter what story she tells you," he nods. "I'll call if she shows up." The drive back home feels like traveling toward a bomb that might or might not explode. Max's van is still in my driveway. The house is dark except for one light in the living room. I find Max standing guard over 2 people tied to chairs in my living room. One is my wife, Elena, mascara streaked down her cheeks, designer dress torn at the shoulder. The other is a man I've never seen before, tall, expensive suit, Slavic features, and the kind of calm expression that suggests being tied up is just a minor inconvenience. "Jack," Elena sobs when she sees me. "Thank God. This maniac broke in and—" "Shut up," the stranger says quietly. His accent is Russian. "Your husband deserves truth." Max gestures toward the Russian with his gun. "This is Viktor Orlov. He is not businessman, like he tells your wife. He is FSB, Russian intelligence, and a terrorist," Viktor adds with a slight smile. "Let us not forget terrorist." Elena's face goes white. "Victor, don't—" "She helped me plan bombing in London last year." Victor continues conversationally. "Very good with logistics, your wife. Also very good in bed, though I suspect you know this already." The words hit me like physical blows. My wife, my Elena, the woman who complains about violence in movies and cries during ASPCA commercials. "You're lying," I say, but even as the words leave my mouth, I know he's not. Max produces a tablet, swipes to a video file. Security camera from London. September 15th. Watch. The video shows Elena and Victor entering a hotel together. She's carrying a large suitcase. They're holding hands, laughing. The timestamp shows they checked in 2 days before a bombing that killed 6 people and injured 37. I was at a conference, Elena whispers. HR conference in London. I told you. You told me many things, I say quietly. Apparently most of them were lies. Victor laughs. She is very good liar. This is why I chose her. Well, one reason. The rage builds slowly, starting in my chest and spreading outward like poison. Elena isn't just cheating on me. She's not just lying to me. She's a terrorist, an actual, literal terrorist who helped murder innocent people. How long? I ask. 2 years, Victor says. Maybe longer. Hard to remember exactly when business became pleasure. Elena starts crying harder. Jack, I can explain. No, I say. You really can't. Max steps forward. We need names, other people involved. Elena's friends, they help with money laundering. Jenna and Allison, yes? Elena's eyes widen. How do you... We know everything, Max lies smoothly. Question is whether you cooperate or we let FSB handle this their way. Victor's smile disappears. You would not dare. Try me. The next hour passes in a blur of revelations that systematically destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. Elena and Victor met at a conference 2 years ago. She was recruited gradually, first as a source of information about her company's defense contracts, then as a money launderer, finally as an active participant in planning attacks. Her friends Jenna and Allison are involved. Jenna works at a bank and helps move money. Allison's husband owns a construction company that provides cover for moving equipment and people. My wife of 18 years is part of a terrorist cell. Why? I finally ask her. She looks up at me with red-rimmed eyes. You wouldn't understand. Try me. I was bored, Jack. Bored with you. Bored with this house. Bored with this life. Victor offered excitement. Adventure. Purpose. Purpose. You helped kill people. I helped strike back against American imperialism, she says, and for a moment her voice carries conviction. This country has blood on its hands. Someone needs to. I backhand her across the face. The sound echoes through the room like a gunshot. Elena's head snaps to the side, and when she looks back at me, there's blood on her lip. Jack, Max says quietly. We need to be smart about this. He's right. Beating my terrorist wife won't solve anything, no matter how good it feels. Victor starts laughing. Now you see real Jack Harris, not so civilized after all. You want to see uncivilized? I ask him. Very much. I grab a handful of his expensive tie and pull his face close to mine. Keep talking, please. Something in my voice makes his smile falter. Max checks his watch. We have maybe 4 hours before someone comes looking. Elena's office will expect her tomorrow. Victor has meeting with contacts. What contacts? Other cells, Elena whispers. There are others. Chapter 2. The Network. Dawn is breaking over suburban Boston, and I'm learning that my quiet neighborhood is apparently terrorist central. Max has Elena's phone and is scrolling through her messages, while Victor glares at him with the kind of hatred usually reserved for war crimes tribunals. Which, come to think of it, might be appropriate. Jenna texted 3 times last night, Max reports. Wants to know if the delivery went smoothly. What delivery? I ask Elena. She won't look at me. Explosives, for the next operation, which is what? Boston Marathon, Victor says. Next month, during memorial ceremony for bombing victims. The casual way he says it makes my stomach turn. These people want to bomb a memorial for bombing victims. The irony would be funny if it weren't so sick. How many people? I ask. Hopefully thousands, Victor replies. Depends on weather, security response time, placement of devices. I punch him in the mouth. My knuckles split on his teeth, but the satisfaction is worth it. Blood streams down his chin as he spits out what might be part of a tooth. Feel better? He asks. Getting there. Max pulls me aside. We need them talking, not bleeding. Save violence for later. There's going to be a later? Oh yes, but first we get information. He's right. I take a deep breath and focus on the bigger picture. These people have been planning mass murder in my city, using my house as a base of operations. involving my wife in ways that make me want to burn everything down and start over somewhere else. But first, I need to know exactly how deep this goes. Elena, I say quietly, look at me. How many other people are involved? I don't know. I grab Victor's gun from Max and point it at her head. Wrong answer. Jack, no, she screams. How many? 12, maybe 15. I don't know everyone. Names. She starts talking. The network is bigger than I imagined and more sophisticated. Elena's HR job gave her access to employee records for several defense contractors. She identified targets for recruitment and surveillance. Jenna's banking connections allowed money transfers from overseas accounts. Allison's husband provided legitimate business fronts for equipment purchases and storage. There are others. A professor at MIT who provides technical expertise. A TSA agent at Logan Airport who helps with security intelligence. A Boston police detective who feeds information about investigations. My wife isn't just a terrorist. She's a terrorist recruiter. Where are the explosives now? Max asks. Storage unit in Quincy, Elena whispers. Unit 47B. Keys? She nods toward her purse. Max retrieves a small key ring and pockets it. Victor has been quiet during Elena's confession, but now he speaks up. You think you have won something? This changes nothing. If we do not report in, others will assume we are compromised. They will accelerate timeline. What timeline? Marathon bombing was just beginning. We have targets planned for next 6 months. Government buildings, schools, shopping centers. Your children's school is on list, actually. The words hit me like ice water. What did you say? Ben attends Riverside Middle School, yes? Sophie goes to Newton High. Both schools are soft targets, easy to access, maximum psychological impact. Across the room before I realize I'm moving. The gun is in my hand, pressed against Victor's forehead, my finger on the trigger. Say that again, I whisper. Jack, Max says urgently. Do not shoot him. We need information. He just threatened my kids. Yes, and if you kill him, we never find other cells. Logic. I hate logic right now. But Max is right. Victor is more valuable alive than dead, at least for the moment. I step back but keep the gun pointed at his head. You're going to give us everything, I tell him. Names, locations, plans, contacts, everything. Or what? You will torture me? Call police? Your wife will go to prison for rest of her life. Your children will grow up knowing their mother is terrorist. You think this is victory? He's not wrong. If this goes through official channels, Elena faces life in prison, or possibly execution. The kids would be destroyed. My life would become a media circus. But if it doesn't go through official channels, Max, I say, how good are you at making people disappear? Very good, but expensive. How expensive? For 3 people? $200,000. I look at Elena and Victor, then back at Max. 3 people? Your wife is terrorist too. Elena starts crying again. Jack, please. I made mistakes, but I'm still the mother of your children. You're still nothing. I cut her off. You stopped being my wife the moment you decided to help murder innocent people. You stopped being their mother when you put them in danger. The truth of it settles over me like a heavy blanket. My marriage is over, has been over for 2 years apparently. I just didn't know it. But my kids are still alive, and I intend to keep them that way. I don't have $200,000, I tell Max. Then we do this different way. What way? We destroy them without killing them, ruin their lives, expose their network, make them wish they were dead. That works too. Victor laughs. You think you can destroy us? We have resources you cannot imagine. Connections in government, law enforcement, media. You are one man with gun and Ukrainian mercenary. I'm one man with a gun, a Ukrainian mercenary, and absolutely nothing left to lose, I correct him. That's a dangerous combination. My phone buzzes. Text from my father. Elena just showed up, demanding to see kids. What should I tell her? I show the message to Max. She's not here, he points out. We both look at Elena, still tied to her chair in my living room. Who else has keys to your car? I ask her. No one. Wrong again. Max holds up a second set of keys from Elena's purse. Victor has been driving your car, probably using it to scout targets, transport equipment. And now someone else is driving it, I realize. Someone pretending to be Elena. Victor's smile returns. I told you, we have resources. My phone rings. My father. Jack, there's a woman here claiming to be Elena. But something's not right. She doesn't know Ben's middle name. Keep the kids inside. Lock the doors. Call the police if she doesn't leave in 5 minutes. Already called them. They're on the way. I hang up and turn to Victor. Who is she? Insurance policy. What kind of insurance policy? The kind that ensures you cooperate. Max checks his gun and heads toward the door. We need to go, now. If they have someone impersonating Elena, they know we have her. What about them? I gesture toward Elena and Victor. Bring them. We continue this somewhere else. Chapter 3. The Hunt. 20 minutes later, we're in an abandoned warehouse in Southie that Max apparently keeps for occasions like this. Elena and Victor are retied to metal chairs, and I'm learning that my pool cleaner has some very interesting skills. Ukrainian Special Forces, he explains while setting up what looks like professional interrogation equipment. Before war, I work private security. After war, I work for people who pay well to solve problems. What people? People whose families were killed by terrorists, like your wife and her boyfriend. Elena flinches at the word boyfriend. Interesting. Even tied up and facing potential torture, she's still worried about labels. Victor, Max says conversationally, tell us about woman who went to Jack's father's house. Go to hell. Max pulls out a tablet and shows Victor a photograph. This woman, yes? Victor's face goes pale. Where did you get that? Security camera at retirement community. Very good security system. Also, facial recognition software. Max swipes to another screen. Katya Volkov, FSB operative. Also your wife. Wife? I look at Victor, then at Elena. You're married? Elena stares at Victor with an expression I can't read. Hurt? Betrayal? Hard to tell. Was married, Victor says quietly. Katya and I divorced 2 years ago. Right around the time you started sleeping with my wife, I observe. Coincidence? Sure it is. I turn to Elena. Did you know he was married? She shakes her head. Did you know he was using you? Another head shake, but this one less certain. Max continues scrolling through files on his tablet. Katya Volkov, 32 years old, specialist in infiltration and impersonation, currently wanted by Interpol for bombing in Prague last year. She's here to clean up loose ends, I realize. Starting with my kids, most likely. My phone rings again. My father, Jack. The police came and talked to that woman. She had identification, claimed she left her keys inside and was locked out. They made her leave, but she's probably coming back. Dad, listen carefully. Take the kids and go to Uncle Mike's cabin in New Hampshire. Right now. Don't pack anything. Just go. What's going on, son? I can't explain over the phone. Please just trust me. We're leaving in 10 minutes. I hang up and look at Victor. Your wife is about to have a very disappointing day. She will find them, he says confidently. Katya is very good at her job. Not if they're not there. Max finishes setting up his equipment and turns to Elena. Your turn to be helpful. We need to know about storage unit. What kind of explosives? How much? What security? I don't know specifics. Wrong answer. Max produces a small device that looks like a taser. This will help you remember. Wait, I say. Let me try something first. I pull out Elena's phone and scroll through her contacts until I find Jenna's number. What are you doing? Elena asks. Inviting your friends to a party. I compose a text from Elena's phone. Emergency meeting. Victor's been arrested. Need to move everything tonight. Meet at storage unit in 1 hour. They won't come, Elena says. They're not stupid. We'll see. I send the text and immediately get responses. Jenna. On my way. Allison. Holy shit, what happened? Apparently they are that stupid, I tell Elena. Max checks his weapons and equipment. We go to storage unit, intercept them there. What about these two? Bring them. They might be useful. We load Elena and Victor into Max's van and drive to Quincy. The storage facility is typical suburban self-storage. Long rows of identical units. Minimal security. Perfect for hiding illegal materials. Unit 47B is in the back corner, away from the main office and security cameras. Max picks the lock in about 30 seconds while I keep watch. Inside, we find enough explosives to level a city block. Jesus Christ, I breathe. Boxes of C4, detonators, timing devices, and what looks like enough ammonium nitrate to recreate the Oklahoma City bombing. There are also maps of Boston, with targets marked in red. Government buildings, schools, shopping centers, the marathon route. My kids' schools are both circled. This is it, Max says grimly. This is what they planned. Elena won't look at the explosives. I didn't know there was so much. Bullshit. I swear, Jack. I thought it was just smaller things. Smaller things. You thought helping terrorists was okay as long as they only killed a few people? She doesn't answer. A car pulls into the storage facility parking lot. Through the window, I see Jenna getting out of her BMW, looking nervous and checking her phone constantly. Showtime, Max says. We wait until Jenna reaches the unit. Then Max steps out behind her with his gun drawn. Hands up, turn around slowly. Jenna screams and drops her purse. Who are you? Where's Alina? Elena's busy, I say, stepping into view. Hello, Jenna. Her face goes white when she recognizes me. Jack? What are you doing here? Learning about my wife's hobbies. Turns out she's been helping plan mass murder. Did you know that? I don't know what you're talking about. Max shows her the explosives. Then explain this. Jenna starts crying immediately. They said it was just money laundering, moving funds for political causes. I didn't know about this. Political causes, I repeat. Is that what you call terrorism now? Another car arrives. Allison driving her husband's construction company truck. She parks and walks toward us, then stops when she sees Max's gun. What the hell is going on? Intervention, I tell her. We're helping Elena and Victor with their terrorism problem. Allison turns to run. Max fires a warning shot into the air, and she freezes. Everyone inside the unit, Max orders. Now. 5 minutes later, I'm looking at my wife's entire support network, tied up in a storage unit full of explosives. Elena, Victor, Jenna, and Allison. 4 people who decided that mass murder was an acceptable form of political expression. Here's what's going to happen, I tell them. You're going to give me everything. Names, locations, bank accounts, contacts, plans, everything. And if we don't, Allison asks. I gesture toward the explosives. Then Max and I are going to have a very interesting conversation about acceptable losses in the war on terrorism. Victor laughs. You will not kill us. You are not killer. You're right, I agree. I'm not a killer, but I am a father whose children were threatened by terrorists. That makes me something much more dangerous. What? Someone with nothing left to lose and access to enough explosives to solve all my problems at once. The laughter dies on Victor's lips. Max starts recording on his phone. Begin with bank accounts, he tells Jenna. All of them. Chapter 4. The Confession. 2 hours later, I have enough evidence to destroy a dozen lives and prevent multiple terrorist attacks. Jenna and Allison have given up bank account numbers, contact information, and detailed descriptions of money laundering operations that span 3 states and 2 countries. Elena has provided a complete list of targets, including timeline and planned methods of attack. The Marathon Memorial bombing was scheduled for next month, followed by attacks on government buildings in Boston, Cambridge, and Newton. Victor has been less cooperative, but Max has ways of encouraging conversation that I prefer not to think about too closely. The professor at MIT, Max says, reviewing his notes. Dr. Sarah Kim. She provided technical specifications for explosive devices. I know her, Elena whispers. She's a friend from college, some friend. She didn't know what the specifications were for. I told her it was for a movie script. And she believed that? She wanted to believe it. The pattern is becoming clear. Elena recruited people by lying to them, manipulating their trust, exploiting their weaknesses. Some, like Jenna, were told they were supporting political causes. Others, like Dr. Kim, were given cover stories that let them pretend they weren't doing anything wrong. But the core group, Elena, Victor, Allison, they knew exactly what they were doing. TSA agent, Max continues. Robert Chen at Logan Airport. He provided security schedules and procedures, Elena says. Victor paid him $50,000. For what specific information? Cargo screening procedures. How to get items past security. Which flights have minimal inspection? They were planning to hijack planes? I ask. Not hijack, Victor says. Bomb. Much more effective. The casual way he discusses mass murder makes my skin crawl. These people aren't just terrorists. They're sociopaths who view human life as an acceptable cost for their political goals. My phone buzzes. Text from my father. Safe at cabin. Kids asking questions. What should I tell them? I type back. Tell them Daddy's cleaning house. Home soon. What about the police detective? Max asks. Elena looks uncomfortable. Detective Morrison. He was my contact in Boston PD. Was? He died last month. Car accident. Max and I exchange glances. Convenient accident? Victor arranged it, Elena admits. Morrison was getting nervous, threatening to expose us unless we paid him more money. So you killed him. Victor killed him. I just provided the information about his routine. Another murder, another life destroyed by my wife's political activism. How many others? I ask. What do you mean? How many other people have died because of your network? Elena won't answer. Victor smiles. London bombing killed 6, he says. Prague bombing killed 4. Morrison makes 11, plus 3 people in Berlin who were asking too many questions. 14 people, I say quietly. You've helped murder 14 people. So far, Victor agrees. The rage is building again, but this time I keep it under control. Rage won't help my kids. Rage won't prevent future attacks, but information will. Max, I say, how do we end this? Kill them all, he suggests matter-of-factly. I'm not a murderer. Then we expose them, publicly, completely, destroy their lives so thoroughly that death would be mercy. That works better anyway. I pull out my phone and start recording. Elena Harris, do you admit to participating in terrorist attacks that resulted in the deaths of 14 people? Jack, please don't. Answer the question. Yes, she whispers. Do you admit to planning attacks on Boston area targets, including schools, government buildings, and the Marathon Memorial? Yes. Do you admit to recruiting others into your terrorist network through lies and manipulation? Yes. I turn the camera toward Victor. Victor Orlov, do you admit to being a Russian intelligence operative engaged in terrorist activities on American soil? I admit nothing. Max produces his taser and touches it to Victor's leg. Victor screams and convulses. Do you admit to being a Russian intelligence operative? I ask again. Yes, FSB operative. Do you admit to planning and executing terrorist attacks? Yes. I continue recording confessions from Jenna and Allison, documenting their roles in money laundering and logistical support. By the time I'm finished, I have enough evidence to destroy all of them and roll up their entire network. What now? Jenna asks through her tears. Now we make sure this never happens again. I call Detective O'Connor, an old Army buddy who works Boston PD. Not the detective on Victor's payroll, a different one, someone I trust. Danny, it's Jack Harris. I need a favor. What kind of favor? The kind that prevents terrorist attacks and makes you look like a hero. I'm listening. Meet me at the Quincy Storage Facility on Route 3, Unit 47B. Come alone and bring a bomb squad. Jack, what the hell? Trust me. And Danny? This is going to be the biggest case of your career. I hang up and turn to Max. How long do we have? 20 minutes, maybe 30. Enough time. For what? To make sure they understand the consequences of threatening my family. Chapter 5. The Reckoning. Detective O'Connor arrives with backup and a bomb squad. The storage unit full of explosives gets their immediate attention. But the 4 terrorists tied up inside really make their day. Jesus Christ, Jack, Danny says, staring at the evidence. How did you find all this? Long story. The important thing is that we stopped them. We? I introduce Max as a security consultant who helped uncover the plot. It's not entirely a lie. The arrests are swift and thorough. Elena, Victor, Jenna, and Allison are taken into custody on terrorism charges. The evidence we've gathered leads to raids on a dozen other locations and the arrest of the remaining network members. Dr. Kim, the MIT professor, is arrested at her home. The TSA agent is taken into custody at Logan Airport. 3 other conspirators are rounded up based on information from Elena's confession. But I'm not finished. The next morning, I visit Elena in jail. She's wearing an orange jumpsuit and looks like she's aged 10 years overnight. Jack, she says when she sees me, thank God. I need you to call a lawyer. Get me bail. I can explain everything. No, I say quietly. You can't. What do you mean? I mean you're going to prison for the rest of your life. You're going to die in a cell, forgotten and alone. And I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. Her face crumples. What about the kids? What about Sophie and Ben? What about them? They need their mother. They need their mother not to be a terrorist. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. I pull out a folder of documents. Divorce papers. I'm filing on grounds of treason and endangerment. I'm also requesting full custody and a restraining order. You can't take my children away from me. Watch me. I stand to leave, then turn back. Oh, and Elena? I'm selling the house. The one where you planned mass murder. Seemed like the right thing to do. Where will you go? Somewhere you'll never find us. The divorce proceedings are swift and brutal. Elena's terrorist activities make her an unsuitable parent in the eyes of any reasonable judge. I get full custody, the house, and permission to relocate anywhere in the country. Victor and Elena both receive life sentences without parole. Jenna gets 25 years. Allison gets 30. The other network members receive sentences ranging from 10 to 40 years. The media coverage is intense but brief. Suburban mom turned terrorist, makes headlines for a week, then fades as other stories take precedence. But I'm not done with my revenge yet. 6 months later, I'm living in Colorado with Sophie and Ben. New house, new schools, new life. The kids are adapting well. Teenagers are remarkably resilient when they're not being threatened by their mother's terrorist boyfriends. I get a call from Max, who has returned to whatever shadowy organization employs Ukrainian Special Forces veterans. Jack, he says, I have news. What kind of news? Victor's wife, Katya. She was found dead in Moscow, apparent suicide. Apparent? Let us say that Russian intelligence does not appreciate operatives who get caught by pool cleaners. And Victor, stabbed in prison shower last week. Also apparent suicide. Though difficult to stab oneself in back 17 times, I feel a grim satisfaction. Justice comes in many forms. What about Elena? Still alive, for now. But prison is a dangerous place for terrorists who endanger children. Max, yes, thank you. You are welcome. But Jack, yeah, if you ever need pool cleaned, call someone else. I am retired from that business. He hangs up, and I smile for the first time in months. Chapter 6.